The growing rental crisis. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, and I want to have a look at this article about the rental crisis in WA. Now, the reason why I want to look at this is we did a live stream a couple of months ago now, where I used to do a challenge trying to find a starter home, for 400 grand, 3-bedroom house, and we were looking at WA. Now, in WA, it was a nightmare to find a starter home, and houses you could buy over there, you could positively gear them, okay? None of this negative gearing bullshit. You could rent it for more than the interest payments you'd have on it. You'd probably be slightly negative when maintenance and all of that stuff, but still, guys, nuts. So let's look at this. And I wonder if WA, because it's going crazy now with all the natural resources, I wonder if this will continue once the borders can open properly again and you can have people commuting back and forth. Although, I've been getting advertisements on YouTube from Western Australia trying to encourage me to move to WA. I guess I'm the middle-aged dad demo. They're targeting, wanted a more time with the kids, better life, come to WA. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you have seen that or if it's just me and if we're in the demo. So, the rental crisis in West Australia forces families into caravans filling up tourist parks. So, nestled in the picturesque coast of West Australia's southwest food and wine region, Busselton has been welcoming holidaymakers for decades. But as the rental crisis in the area has worsened, an unprecedented number of local families are seeking refuge at the caravan parks built for tourists. Everyday park managers are turning away dozens of families who've been forced to sleep in their cars or camp in the bush after their rental properties have become unaffordable. Natalie Darby has been managing one local park for 7 years and says she's never seen such demand before. We have no semi-long-term accommodation available and are receiving at least a dozen calls a day. We try to help out where we can, but we simply can't fit any more long-term people in the park. She said she had about 50 long-term bookings. I find we have a lot of single parents with children, but then we also have older full-time working couples who cannot secure long-term accommodation in Busselton and the greater region. 6 kids, no house. Kirsty Watson and her partner, a plasterer, have been living in the Busselton area for 12 years and have never had any issues securing a lease. When the property they were living in was put on the market, they applied for more than 30 different rentals in the area. Ms. Watson said after 6 months, they made the decision to move into a caravan at the park with their 6 kids. Now the family has been there for almost a year. We were hoping to get our own place, but we've been here since May, she said. I've started working here. Both my daughters started working here as well. Both my daughters, 16 and 19, moved into their own caravan because there were just too many of us in a confined space. Ms. Watson said there needed to be more effort put into setting up short-term options. The government. Why does everyone think it's the government's solution? The government is the one getting in the way of supply. Okay. It's always... Well, this is an ABC article, guys, so it's going to be the government that everyone's calling to. The government should look into putting up some dongers, even if people have to pay for them, then they live there, she said. It's better than people being homeless. Well, if I will refer to one of the first videos I did on my channel, where I looked at dongers you could buy secondhand from mining camps for pretty bloody cheap. The cost would be mainly in driving the bloody thing to where you need it. But they are a fantastic starter home. The problem is, all the not in my backyard crowd will bitch and moan about you doing a donger. You get a house for $3,000. All fully plumbed, everything. And they're not that bad. They are not that bad. Better than a caravan, cheaper than a tiny house. So 3 in a bunk bed. Michelle Turner moved into a caravan park with her 3 children about 2 months ago, being unable to find long-term rentals. She says caravan parks have stepped in where other agencies have been unable to help. The market provides. If it wasn't for park manager Nat Darby, I don't know where we would be, Miss Turner said. I had a 4-wheel drive with a rooftop tent, and that was going to be my next option. When she said We'll be able to get you a place here. It was a tears of happiness, not tears of what am I going to do. Miss Turner shares a bunk bed with her 2 youngest children in the caravans, and her eldest has the top bunk. We're warm, we're dry, kids are fed. You've just got to look at the positives, she said. Well, yeah, it could be a lot worse. Okay? It could be a lot worse, everyone. So, 0% vacancy. Busselton has been identified as among the places with the lowest rental vacancy rates in WA. According to figures released in March, the Busselton area has 0% vacancy rate. The vacancy rate does not mean there are no rentals on the market, but those that are available are being rented in less than 21 days of being listed. 3 weeks. Other areas in the state experiencing shortages as severe include East Bunbury, Denmark, and Bridgetown. Maureen Richardson, a financial counsellor with Anglicare WA, said the situation was at crisis point. We're not just moving to caravan parks, they're couch surfing, she said. I know one couple who sleeps on the veranda of one of the community centres down here for a few days until they could get into a caravan park. There are people sleeping rough, and there are also some circumstances of domestic abuse where women are having to stay in an unsafe environment because there are no alternatives. Well, try being a man in that situation. And, just let us know in the comments, guys, how many men's shelters you could go to with your kids. Just let us know. I know the answer because I've interviewed people that have tried to get them up and running. Figures released by the Department of Community show as of March 31, there were 1,329 applicants on the public housing waiting list for the South region, representing 2,119 people. They include 156 priority applications representing 301 people. David Hewitt is 64 and has been on the list for public housing for about 3 years, more than 2 of which are spent living in a caravan park. Yeah, mate, they're not going to give you a house. You're a man. You're not. I bet you're not on the priority list. He was working as a truck driver but gave up for health reasons and later moved out of his Port Geography home because he could not afford the rent. The caravan park is okay to be in for a while but not long term. It's a long wait for new builds. This is the supply issue. We're talking about it here in Brisbane. It's going to be exacerbated by the difficulty in getting building products. And you've got builders going bust because they can't pass on cost increases. So then you're going to have less people be able to provide the supply. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough few years. In a statement, WA Housing Minister John Kerry said the government was working to address the crisis. You need to increase housing stock. And while that will take time in the current market, measures such as our $20,000 building bonus grant and $116 million regional land booster program have ensured we have a significant amount of new housing stock in the pipeline to be delivered. Real Estate Institute of WA Deputy President Joe White said there was a significant backlog of new homes being built. We've had over the COVID period an increase of people moving in the area and at corresponding time a decrease in available rentals, with rent stock being sold off, he said. That hasn't been able to be replaced with new housing under construction. Mr. White said up until November 2019, there had been a 5-year period of gradual rental decline. Such a long period of decline meant that at some point it's going to turn around and COVID supercharged that, he said. What we had expected to happen over a 5-year period happened over one, and that's what's caused the shocks. So there we go, guys, a growing rental crisis. Let's talk about this. Now, we've got some people who are having to go to caravan parks, who are having to camp, who are having to couch surf. But the issue is supply, housing supply. The market was overheated. Now, why was that market overheated? Why do you think? We all know why. Significant government intervention. You've got Home Builder propping up the market. You've got the government, the West Australian government handing out money to people, up to 88 grand when you combine everything together to get into housing. A lot of those were built, but a lot of people also are snapping everything up. You've got the borders closed in WA for much longer than anywhere else. That's also going to put pressure on the housing market. So you've got the ABC, you've got people calling for the government. Well, they're calling for the dongers to be repurposed. And that's probably pretty bloody smart. And I will link to that video at the end of this one so you can have a look at how those can be used. I feel sorry for these people, but at least they've got somewhere warm. This could be a lot worse. What do you reckon, guys? What do you think the solution is? And do you think WA will ever address this issue? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I find and put together here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for our referral links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Or if you need architectural services, particularly for education, resource, or commercial work, give us a call. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time, and make the best of the situation you have. You got to think positive when you're going through tough times. Because, well, particularly if you're a man, no one gives a shit. Is that too sad? Or is it just real?